Hey, 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 this is Sarah Noelle Block, and you are listening to Tiny Marketing. This is the Uncut Summer Series where you are getting the raw, unfiltered, unedited recordings from our interviews, webinars, and workshops. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ridiculousness. I am taking you behind the scenes on creating my long 4-hour in-person content creation party workshop for the entire state of Illinois. So let's get to it. I worked with my husband, who is in education leadership, to design a workshop that would keep people engaged because, let's be real, 4 hours is a really, really long time. So I needed to make sure that this workshop was extremely engaging and kept people interested the whole time. So he helped me develop the agenda that would facilitate that. So the first 15 minutes of it is introducing the event, myself, and starting a discussion on what people really want from the event. So we can sort of set the stage on what a win would be by the end of the workshop. Next thing is the teaching element of it. So I am going to teach them how to do content planning and introduce a content calendar and how they can use it most effectively. After this teaching moment, which would be about 45 minutes to an hour, we'll take a break so people can step away, get a little mind break, and have some time to adjust. Next up, we're going to come together and do something physical to get people on their toes. So we're going to do a 4-corner question. And with this, I'm asking them 2 to 3 questions that will get them moving into different corners of the room to get them, energized. So they're moving, they're thinking, they're talking. And then the final question will get them into their final groups for the activity that will to come. So the next piece of it is explaining the activity. So I'm going to take just 5 minutes to set the stage on what the activity will look like, how they can complete it, and say, okay, these are your groups. These 4 corners are the groups. Then we'll go into the activity. The first one is a content calendar planning activity. So they're going to spend about 45 minutes working together to create 1 season of content. The objective by the end of the workshop is to be able to have an entire year's worth of content. So this first section is breaking up into those 4 quarters, and each quarter is going to be assigned the content calendar for that quarter, and then they're going to share it so they'll have a full year. So that's what they'll be doing for the next 45 minutes. What do we need to talk about for this season? Then we will get back together and we'll start sharing out what are things that we added to our content calendar, and does anybody else have ideas on what we should include in the content calendar for that season? So we'll be able to talk to the larger group during this next part. We'll take another break, move people away, get them moving again. And then we're going to come back to another teaching moment where I will teach them how to use AI and repurpose the B-roll, the videography, the photos that they did earlier before my session started. So I'm going to teach them for about 30 minutes how to use ChatGPT, how to use repurposing, and AI tools to do it really quickly. Then we're going to do a group activity where I walk them through how to do this for one particular project. Then they'll be able to see what it looks like in real life. And then they are going to go back to their groups and they will complete their own activity where they will repurpose, use AI in order to create the content. Last, after they created their thing, they will share out their project and share it with the room, and we'll wrap up the workshop. So that is what a 4-hour workshop looks like agenda-wise. Now, let's get into the content of it. The first thing that I need to teach in this workshop is content planning and calendar creation. So, the first thing I do is explain what on earth is content planning. No one attending this workshop is a marketer, so they're not going to know. So, we want to define your goals for the quarter. What programs or events do you need to promote? Audit existing content. Is there anything that you can repurpose that you've already created? Assess the competition. Do you have any ideas that would work for you based off of what the competition has done in previous seasons? Scan through their socials, scan through their websites, see what works. Build an editorial calendar. Create 3 to 5 pieces of content for every piece of content. Repurpose to high heaven. Create engagement points within your content. So how do we get people to engage with your content and plan for that ahead of time? And then last is pre-repurpose. So understanding what content that you've created this season, is there any of it that you can use for next year at the same time? Oh, it's going to remember. All right. And then the last bit of the workshop was around repurposing and AI. So I put together slides and prompts to show them how they can repurpose their content super easily using tools like Opus, Canva, CapCut. And then I taught them ChatGPT prompts to help them come up with content ideas and repurpose the content that they've created. Last things last, I put together a comprehensive workbook that they would be able to use, and it is broken down by season. So each we'll have 4 groups working on content creation for their season. So every group will have all 4 seasons. By the end of the 4 hours, they will have an entire year of content created for their group. It should be amazing and so beneficial. Hey y'all, guess what? We just traveled in time and I am recording this after the workshop went live. And I wanted to give you a little update on how it went now that you have heard how I planned the whole shebang. So the goal for the organization was to get 40 people to sign up for it. That was the ultimate goal. And there was a charge for it. So 40 people would get them to their financial goal for this event that I was facilitating. What ended up happening is they sold 60 places for the workshop. And they actually had a long wait list of people who wanted to get in, but there just wasn't room. Like the building capacity just wouldn't allow it. So we sold 60 spots and there was a wait list for the workshop. We ended up spending 2 hours in the morning doing content planning for each quarter. We took a lunch. And then in the afternoon, we spent another 2 hours doing actual content creation. And I taught them about different ways to use ChatGPT, Opus, all of the tools in order to create a robust content that would last a year. By the end of the session, we split the group up into 4 groups, and each group had their own quarter. So we had a final version of a content plan for each quarter that we shared out among all of the participants. So at the end of the day, everybody did, in fact, get their year of content planning done. And they even had time to do a lot of the creation for their specific district and start creating graphics. They got the copy done. They got videos done. We even had time during our lunch break to go out and take photos and video at the facility where we were doing the workshop. So all in all, I would say the workshop turned out to be a success. They were really engaged. They got everything done, and we met our objection. No, that's not the word I'm looking for. Objective of getting a full year's worth of content done in one afternoon. All right, now wrapping it up. So that is the behind the scenes of my workshop. If you have questions, go down and to the fan mail and send me a message. I am happy to answer it for you. Okay, bye. If you enjoyed this episode, please remember to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts and rate and review. But most importantly, tell your friends. Share this episode with a friend so other people know about Tiny Marketing and our Uncut Summer series. I will see you next week with another great one.